Andrew Adkins, welcome to the show, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you, boys. Thanks for having me on.
Have you got yourself a stubby?
We do. Got a nice, beautiful cold 4X here.
You are. You look like you're in bloody God's country. So you're in Port Mac. You live around the corner from the racetrack. That must have been fun growing up.
Yeah, I am up in Port, parents' house. Actually directly across the road from the race course. So it was good growing up here. It was always sort of destined to be a jockey, I guess.
Yeah, never had a chance to do anything else.
Didn't have a choice.
Did you start riding track work or anything there before you came to Sydney?
Yeah. So I think I done a year and a half, 2 years officially as apprentice here, but I started riding track work and working in stables when I was still at school. I was sort of going track work in the mornings and then shooting off to school for the day and come back in the afternoons doing the boxes in the Arvo. So I was into it pretty early, but I started riding work. I think I was 14 or 15 or something like that, and then had my first race ride. I think I was 15, 9 months or 16 or something like that. Yeah.
How'd you go?
I got beat, I reckon, that far. So I reckon if I sneezed on it, I would have won.
You should have sneezed on it.
Should have.
What about, though, if you ever missed track work, they could just really jump the fence and knock on your back door and check where you are.
I'll tell you something funny. Actually, one day I come off one just out the front and it hurt my leg. So I just walked straight home. True story.
Who caught the horse?
I don't know. They caught her over at the stables. I went straight home. Yeah, they seen it and mum and dad come across and picked me up off the track and went straight home.
Did this horse have a jockey?
Well,
yeah, they caught it at the gap.
Took my whipping cap and I'm going home. I've had enough of this.
Mate,
I had enough, mate.
I've had a gutful.
Mate, it looks very nice up there at your folks' place. So straight off the bat, how are you going with your recovery? And what was it? You broken leg, broken arm, and your clavicle?
No, so I broke my tibia and fibia, but with 4 breaks in it. So I got a rod put in that, goes from just underneath my knee to my ankle, screws in it, and then I done 8 ribs and my collarbone. So, and a plate put in my collarbone.
Far out.
Shit. So all on the left-hand side?
All on the left-hand side.
Oh, Jesus.
Mate, that is
Sorry,
heavy.
I'm trying to take that in.
I know, like that's
8 ribs. So
did the doctors say car accident
fracture on
injury?
the 8 ribs or?
Yeah, it makes it difficult. Fractured or broken, whatever it is. But
Far out.
it was 7 or 8 ribs. I think it was 2 to 9 or something like that. So
Ribs are fun, eh?
yeah, I just started having a sneezing attack before, and I tell you what, that's not nice to have.
Jeez, and so day to day, what have they got you doing for recovery or?
So I flew back from Westmead Hospital into the rehab centre here in Port Macquarie, which was good. I had done a lot of physio straight away. It was just mainly sort of getting movement in my ankle and my knee, and through my arm and stuff like that. But it's pretty painful, but you got to start moving because otherwise you end up not being able to straighten your leg out and not being able to move your ankle. So when you do go to walk again, it makes it very difficult if you're not doing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah. So how many hours a day they got you doing rehab?
Well, when I was in hospital, I was doing it twice a day, and it was only sort of 20 minutes because it was so close to the injury. Like I think I was only 2 or 3 weeks out from having it done, but and from the surgery. But now I'm back here. I'll start. I think I've booked in for Monday, so I'll start doing that, and then I don't know how many days a week they'll have me doing that or how many times, but sort of find out Monday what the go is.
Yeah, and just to tear up time, have you sort of become a form student / Netflix student?
Netflix student, form student, not necessarily. Trying to sort of still watching the races, but also having a bit of time away doesn't sort of hurt, but without sort of really disappearing. Still got to keep your eye on it and stuff, like watch most races on a Saturday and stuff like that. So just to keep interested. But yeah, Netflix has been getting an absolute hammering.
Yeah. Any favourites? Any favourites you can tell the listeners to tune into?
Actually, not on Netflix. On Stan, Power. Power's the go-to.
I've watched that.
Good one. It's
really good.
New one coming out too next month, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think it's 13th of September or something like that. So
settle
keen to get back into
down.
that.
Settle down.
Just so you know, Pat is a Netflix Stan freak. Name any show, Pat's seen it. Look, it's embarrassing for someone that works so much. You obviously don't sleep. So is it what's next for you now? So you go back into rehab you go rehab, like going into rehab, you're still staying at home, but from Monday onwards, how much of that have you got ahead of you?
So, I mean, I'll probably still do rehab until I'm back riding, really. I'll still do physio well and truly after I start riding, just to make sure everything's still sweet and perfect and working fine, and obviously keeping the strength in it and stuff. I don't know, when I had the fall at Randwick a year and a half or 2 years ago, when I broke my back and stuff, I was still doing physio and stuff like that. Well, a couple of months after I was back riding. So just to keep everything still moving right and all your muscles and stuff sweet.
So it's something you're familiar with, the long recovery. Is there a point where you put a flag in the sand and go, this is the date I want to be back, and you work towards that date, or is it sort of open-ended?
It's very open-ended. I mean, there is people out there like that want to just get back in a massive rush, and I find doing that you only end up worse. You end up worse, and if you take another tumble, you're back at square one. So I sort of don't really set a date. I just say, right, well, maybe it might be 3 months, it might be 4 months, it might be 12 months. It's whatever the day I feel right and I'm comfortable with going back.
Yep. So I was just going to say, is there a rough chance, like we see you say?
Well, look, mate, everyone wants to see you back. I suppose that's what Pat's trying to get at. Is there a rough estimate of a turnaround of when you could possibly
Easter
see out there?
Yeah, I'd say probably somewhere around Christmas. I'm tipping anywhere between sort of 3 to 6 months. I'm tipping anyway. Yep. I've spoke to a few people with the same sort of injury, and I mean, some people have been 10 months, some people have been inside 3 months. So it's honestly, it's however your bones heal. I was only talking to one of the other jockeys not long ago. He was down in Melbourne, and he had the same injury, and they said he was off 10 months and seen no improvement. Had to go and see another surgeon, and they fixed him up, had another surgery, and he was back in within 3 months. So,
wow. If you don't mind us asking, who are you allowed to reveal the name, or? I
think it was Thomas Stockdale.
Okay.
And he said someone, I can't remember who else it was, but there was 2 jockeys down there, him and another guy, and they had very similar, exact same sort of injuries to me. And so I mean, if you've got a good surgeon, it's a big bonus to have. But I'm sort of aiming for 3 months. That'd be sort of ideal. But like I said, I'm not going to be rushing to get back, because it's a major thing, and it's not like your broken wrist and whatever. Sort of 6 weeks and you're sweet, because I do have a big piece of metal in my leg now, so I've got to be 100% before. Exactly. Got to be 100%.
And mate, you haven't had the best run of late with the injuries, and you're flying before then, and we'll get to that in a second. But what has been your injuries career? Because I think you just came back from a broken wrist at the beginning of this year, weren't you?
Yeah, so I've had so I started with the fall at Randwick.
Yeah.
Where I done my T2, 3, and 4 and L1, my back. fractured them. I think I done rib. And then I done my cheekbone, my nose, and my sternum in that fall. And then I came back, and it was a few months later, I fell over at home and broke my wrist.
How did you fall over it?
I fell down the stairs.
Wearing roller skates or blind?
Nah, it was no alcohol inflicted.
This has to be a G up. I read this. You slipped on some stairs while taking the rubbish out. This is the biggest bullshit. What happened?
Nah, true.
And what's his name? Who's the rubbish?
Taking him out.
I would have actually liked to make up a better story. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest.
Well, it had you out for a couple of months in the end, that wrist.
It did. It was about 2 months, and then then I was back officially at work, riding for about, I think it was just over a month, and then one threw me out of the barriers at the trials at Rose Hill, and landed on the same wrist and broke it, but I broke a different bone. So then I was back. I've been back probably, I don't know, maybe a few months, and then taking this tumble. So it's been a bit of a horror.
Bad
At
luck,
least you
Ruck.
didn't break your wrist in this one.
Yeah.
I know.
Strong as an ox, these wrists.
Yeah,
now.
those wrists are
Yeah,
firing.
they're sweet. Well, I think I've done both of them twice. So
Far out.
Jesus.
I
So
think,
is
I,
this,
I think I worked out there was 21 bones since the Randwick fall and this fall.
just
You're
drinking
21, aren't you?
Yeah, 22. Nearly 23 in a week or two.
Far out.
just drinking milk for a living now.
I am.
Got to strengthen those bones,
By the
Andy.
litre. I'm drinking it by the litre.
Oh, wow. Mate, actually, on a lighter note, your nickname, Randall, how'd that come about?
Well, it was actually from Jason Watkins. He was a jockey up in Coffs Harbour when I was still riding here. He was just called me Randy Andy for some reason. And then
Randy, mate.
For some
similar-
reason. The bloke that's
I'll
got
let you
the,
throw that out.
Maybe
you
that's
think
what
your wrist
weakened,
would be strong.
might have been what weakened the wrist. Overused.
But, yeah, he started calling me that, and then sort of escalated, and then they started calling me Randall, and then it's Randall. So it's just sort of stuck, and there's no real story behind it.
Oh, well,
It's better than Billy Egan's. We asked him and they called him the Mushroom. Do you know why they call him the Mushroom?
No, I wouldn't have a clue.
We'll tell you once we get off air, but it's a good one. But Randall's better.
I don't know if I want to know. Doesn't sound too good.
Nah.
mate, you were the 2016, 2017 Sydney Champion Apprentice. Mate, what did that mean to you? You were just looking down the list. You beat some good names there. James Innes Jr., Rachel King, some guys, like some people that have won some
Big list.
group races, stakes races.
Yeah, it was obviously a big highlight for my career. I sort of started here. I won the Country Apprentice of the Year, and then that was a year and a half in, and then I moved to Sydney, and then I won the Provincial Apprentice of the Year, and then obviously then you start riding in town, and I was able to win that. So it was good to sort of win all three of them, sort of progressing through my apprenticeship. But it was definitely a highlight, obviously, of my early career, and it means a lot, and it's good to get the sort of publicity out of it and stuff. But
Yeah.
I got plenty of support and stuff through that, which was good.
Who was your main supporter there, main trainer supporter there?
Probably my boss, Ron Quinton. He was sort of
Yep.
putting me on everything, really. If I'm doing the work there, he was pretty eligible to put me on, and always put his hand up to his owners first to let me ride them and stuff like, which I was so thankful for, because getting the backing from your own boss is a massive plus for people looking in on you. If people are looking in, other trainers and owners are looking in on you, and your own bosses are putting you on, you're sort of asking questions. So, it was a big plus having him give me all the rides that was sort of getting splashed out.
And that kind of culminated as well. I mean, you moved through country, provincial, Sydney Apprentice Jockey of the Year, and then bang, 2018, you come out on Daisy Doom in the Coolmore Classic, and you snag your first Group 1 win. Tell us about that day and maybe what the lead up to that day was.
Can you tell
like.
us a bit about getting the ride as well? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, she actually come into the stable, and I was obviously the apprentice, so I was left to ride whatever I was told to ride, and she was actually a handful to ride when she first come, and actually all through her career she was a bit of a handful to ride track work. Anyway, at one stage I said, look, I'm not riding this horse anymore. It's too much to handle. So get one of the older, bigger boys on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't want to bar of her. Anyway, then I started riding her again sort of just before she had her first start, and I said to boss, I said, Jesus, this goes all right, And anyway, I won on her first start at Hawkesbury. I barely even moved on her. I said, I think I might ride this one every day at track work now. So,
I want back on.
Yeah, I want back on. So I stuck with her for a whole career, and she went down to Melbourne. I won a heap of races on her, Group 2s, Group 3s, and then she went down to Melbourne, and I'd never ridden in Melbourne before. She went down there for the Moya or something like that. And they said, oh, we're going to put someone else on her, which was a bit disheartening, but because I've ridden her sort of nearly all through her career, I think Sam might have won maybe 2 on her. It was the only other person. So she was sort of my little sweetheart. And when that happened, it was like, that sort of sucks. But, boss and owner sort of said, you've never ridden in Melbourne, and it's sort of a big chance for us to win a Group 1 with her. And when she comes back, you're back on her, and she sort of come back, and I was able to sort of stick back with her. And yeah, I was sort of just come out of my apprenticeship, and I sort of needed a real kick along, something like winning a Group 1 to sort of really give me a spot in the Sydney Jockeys Room as a senior. And I was thankful enough they put me on her that day, and she was absolutely flying going into it.
Yeah.
But she never could draw a barrier out of all her career starts. She just always drew out, and I don't know, it sort of suited her. She was a real front running horse, and I think we drew 15 or something, or it might even been worse that day in the Coolmore. And I to be honest, I did no form for the race. I thought, you know what, I'll just sort of wing it, because she drew barrier 17. So
Shit.
boss said, I'll just leave it up to you. And I said, right, I'll just play it by ear. And, if she lands in front, or she lands at sort of leaders or something like that, that's perfect. But she's deep. You can't do much about it. So anyway, she bounced well, and she ended up in the front couple, and she was just too strong from it. It was just an absolute thrill to win a Group 1. It was awesome.
That one on
Absolutely
the inside,
awesome.
didn't it? That came across the line with just ahead of about 3 or 4 other horses on the inside there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a massive line across the track of horses. I think she ended up winning by like maybe half a length, 3/4 a length, something. But there was
you
there was about
knew
5.
straight away you had it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At the Pro 200, I thought, geez, I don't know, they might be catching me here, because they sort of really swarmed at her. But she's just one of them real tough horses that just never let anything pass her. And that's why she was such a good front running horse, because as soon as she'd see him, she'd just find another gear and kick. And that's what she done that day. It was just, I don't know, it was a massive thrill. But when they come at me, I thought, oh no, at the furlong. But she just absolutely held them off. And she's a freak.
As a punter, you love horses like that too. I'm getting goosebumps.
Even as an owner, I'd just love to be able to get a horse like it.
I wouldn't know as an owner, but yeah, bloody hell, that's.
So, and mate, she was nothing to look at either. She wasn't a big, strong mare. She wasn't nothing serious. She was, and she, like I said, she was an absolute sort of handful to be around. Really, to ride her and stuff. She used to chuck her head in the air and stuff like that. But when you sort of get to know her, you just let her sort of free roll, and yeah, but just the way she fights for the line, it's just ridiculous.
And what about leading to the not more important part, but the next part of winning a Group 1 was, did you give it a Group 1 celebration that night?
We did actually.
This is what we want to.
We did.
Yeah, come on.
We did. I think we went into Double Bay. I think it was that
into
night.
The sheep.
Double la-di-da.
Into the
sheep.
sheep.
The wallet's full.
Yeah, we went into there, and we had a good hoorah. And then I remember that night getting a text from, I think it might have been
Bill McPherson.
I can't remember who it was. It was someone from Sky Racing saying, "Do you want to come on the show in the morning?"
Oh,
I thought, this is going to be a bit of a test.
Not in good nick.
Phone off.
But anyway, we made it. We made it for the next day. But yeah, it was a good night. We had.
Oh, you
fun
went in still?
Yeah, still made it.
Still made it.
I suppose it's such good PR though, isn't it, to get on there?
Well, it is, and obviously to thank everyone and stuff like that. But just to sort of show your face, and any support's good. Any advertisement's good. So got to do them things.
So did you have the whole crew? Was it a bit like Entourage when you're walking out, and a bit like Vinny just walking straight in? Everyone's around you congratulating you that you won a Group 1.
Yeah, it was good. It was magic.
Shaking hands like the president when you walk in, people you don't know.
Pretty much. It was good to actually get back in the room with the boys and stuff like, because
bloody
I think I'm still the youngest jockey in the room. So even back then, like I was really young. So it was just, everyone's just so excited and stuff like that. Even when anyone wins Group 1, but just to be sort of the youngest and like pretty much the baby of the room, it was pretty cool.
Love hearing that. I mean, I suppose we'll kind of let into that a little bit when was it James Innes Jr. on Natoya, where you could hear the jockeys after the post cheering him on and that. And I think a lot of punters or followers of the sport realise that it is such a tight-knit brotherhood.
It is. You're working with the same people every day, and you're around the same crew every day, and you've got to get along with everyone, and there's not many of us that don't get along. So when someone does win a big race, or something happens, it's good. Everyone's patting you on the back and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
when you say there's not many of you that don't get along, is there a pest in the jockeys' room that you really just go, please just leave me alone?
Give me a break.
Or is it you?
Well, it's probably me and Jimmy Innes, two of the lightweights. Because everyone else is sweating and I'm there chewing on a meat pie or something, they don't like it.
They'd hate that.
What do you walk around at? What weight do you walk around at?
I'm naturally about 51, so I'm pretty light. Yeah. So they don't like that when when they start giving me shit, and I just turn around and say, well, yeah, I'm eating today and you aren't, so.
Sitting there drinking your 5 litres of milk next to the spa.
It's a good way to get them fucking rattled anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just wink, drink.
Mate, look, so it has been a big couple of weeks since that day at Rosehill, and I want to take you back there just for a couple of minutes. And it was, from our point of view, from punters' point of view, and not even punters' point of view, just from, I suppose, the nation's point of view, some of the toughest vision to watch. But I suppose what I wanted to ask you was the first thing, when I knew we were going to get you on, one of the first things I wanted to know, from your point of view in the saddle, did you see it coming at all? Was there a point when you saw what was happening in front of you unfold?
Yeah, there was. I mean, as you could have seen on the film, it was done and over in seconds. But when I seen the shift, I didn't even get time to sort of blink really, and I was sort of on the deck. But it's sort of one of them things that if I seen something happening and I could have avoided it, I would have. But it happens that quick, you don't even get a chance. And everything sort of happens in slow motion really when it does happen. But
what was going through your head? Look, that was actually my next question. When a lot of times you talk to people about things like this happening, it happens so quickly and then it just rolls into slow-mo. What was kind of going through your head at that stage?
Well, yeah, as you said, it's literally slow motion really. Like I seen this sort of shift, and like I said, before I even got a blink, it was done and dusted. It was just over that quick, and I don't think I didn't get knocked out, but it was, I sort of blanked when I try and think about it now, but I do remember going down, but then it was probably a second, it was just sort of black, but then I just remember sort of laying on the track.
And what was the thought then? Did you straight away, do you try and move legs? Do you try and...
Well, yeah, exactly right. You got to try and sort of move the legs straight away and just make sure everything's sweet. But when all that was good, I was able to sort of relax then and take it all in. But I remember still laying on the track there, and had a lady holding my leg, and I had a couple of boys holding the green whistle. I was sort of trying to support my shoulder. But I sort of rattled off the injuries nearly straight away of what I had to the paramedics and stuff. Really? When I got there, sort of knew pretty well straight away, as you can imagine with the pain. But I remember just sitting there, and they said, "Oh, watch out for the horse." I didn't even know the horse was still laying next to me. So
yeah,
it's pretty sort of scary situation. But being a jockey, you got to always know you got to deal with these things. And when you sign up for your license, you're going to have falls. There's no doubt about it. I think I've had my fair share of them now. I wouldn't mind having a little break from them. Yeah.
Mate, you deserve a break from them. Do you remember, like, as you're laying there, and funnily enough, it's interesting that you said you knew what you'd hurt, but do you remember who was the first jockey towards you? Who's the first one you saw?
I remember Lee McGorian, Sam Clipperton.
And you're mates with Sam, aren't you?
Yeah, very good mates with Sam.
Yeah, so that would have been bloody hard for him as well.
Well, that's right. It's very hard for everyone and anyone to come over to someone's falling. You don't know if they're sort of breathing or not, really, especially when it was sort of as bad as it was. But I had Sam, Tommy, and Lee McGorian, Robbie Dolan all come over to me and stuff like that, which is really good. And, just to reassure all the boys that everything's sweet. I remember just having Lee standing over me with a green whistle in my mouth, and they got a little air vent on them. I'm saying, "I put your finger over that air vent so it hits me harder," because I was in that much pain.
Well, mate, yeah, we're gonna bring that up. That was one of the most memorable photos of the year. I think probably, when you look back on 2020 and see some memorable photos, you sitting there with that green whistle,
sucking the whistle with the thumbs up
in the ambulance.
Was that in the ambo or was that in the hospital?
No, it was in the ambo on the way to the hospital.
You would have been on your third whistle by then.
I was.
Oh, shit.
I could barely even remember I was that high on that bloody green whistle. Definitely not. I didn't have any pain anyway. But no, it was just. Look, to be honest, I don't even know why I took that photo and posted. I was that high, like I said. But,
mate, I'm glad you did. It's a great photo, and it. I reckon it says, instead of it just being about the incident itself, which was huge, and we talk about that in a sec, but I suppose it gives you a bit of insight to the character you are as well, that it's like, I'm all good. And even you just said then, which is something I picked up on, is that you had all the boys around you and you just wanted to let them know you were going all right. Like, when people are injured, that's not the first thing they do.
Well, that's true, but you got to let it. Even the first thing I done as soon as I got my phone sort of to me, and was call my parents, because obviously they're 4 hours away. I know they were bawling their eyes out, but it was just so reassuring for them, because I knew they would have been driving straight away.
Did they have any info go to them, or what was the?
Yeah, they had a little bit. I'm not too really sure, but I haven't sort of asked them too much. But it was just to make sure they were fine, because I know they would have been panicking, and a few other people, obviously. That's why I posted that photo, just to let everyone know I was sweet.
Yeah, good on you.
Because as bad as it was,
That photo, was it sent to a friend of yours, or did you posted it up?
I posted that on my Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think I was friends with a friend of yours that shared it onto Facebook and saw it. And it was very reassuring, mate, because there are a lot of text messages coming through from people that don't even follow racing to say, how's this kid from race one? Like, I had guys that probably wouldn't have a bet all year. They'd bet in the Melbourne Cup and knew about what had gone on. That's how sort of
from the leg up as well.
Wide reaching it was.
We were very heavy in on Hot and Hazy as well, so we had quite a lot of feedback immediately, and it was, like I said, mate, it grabbed everyone.
It did, and I was so thankful for the support that I got, and the well wishes and messages and phone calls, and like you said, not from people not even in racing. It was because it was very publicised quite a lot, and I was only over at the stables 2 days ago, and my best mate's grandfather is an old trainer, Glenn Hodge. He said, "You got more publicity out of this fall than you did when you had a Group 1 win." I said, "I know I have," and but it's good. It's a good thing, because it goes to show the support you can have, and like, it's not just in racing, but in everyone. But the racing people, obviously, sort of a bit of a community. But they, it's just great to see everyone really step forward and help you when they can, and wish you well when you need it.
Did Hugh reach out?
Beg your pardon?
Did Hugh Bowman reach out?
Yeah, he did. He rang me a few times, and he come see me in hospital a couple of times, so it was really good. And there's no hard feelings there between us. It was a racing incident, and that's that. What's happened's happened. You just got to move on.
What about at the time?
Well, I was too out of it at the time.
The green whistle hit the mouth too quickly.
That's right. Well, even for the first week, I was on that many painkillers and stuff, and going for a bit of trauma and stuff from their surgeries and whatever else. But after that sort of weared off, it's pretty fine.
Yeah, I suppose that was going to be a follow up to that question. Were you seeing it a lot, and suddenly you're looking at, like, the punters went mental. Like, we patrol and monitor our page really quite a lot, quite heavily, more than a lot of pages and websites and all the other groups and things that are associated with the leg up. And we had to remove more kind of comments and abuse than we've ever had towards one jockey.
Even more than a Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah, I know. It was like he'd gone out and purposely done something to in these people's eyes. Did that at all? I'm not going to say get caught. Did you get caught up in it? But did it affect you at all?
Look, to be honest, I tried to stay out of it. I didn't really want to look at it. And as I'm tipping everyone else would have been. I mean, I didn't even really want to watch the fall, to be honest, for a while. But, I mean, you know, it was one of them things that happened, and I'm always sort of like, I think of things as it can always be worse. So, I mean, once I was fine, and I always say the injuries I've got, I'm lucky. You know, it could always been worse. So, when I seen all that stuff, I sort of just put a blind eye to it. And, you know, like I said, Hugh was in contact with me straight away and obviously apologised and whatever else, but and come and see me. So I was reassured by him, and I just moved on, mate. There was no real, like, hard feelings or anything like that. You know, it's one of them things that's going to happen in your career, and you know it's going to happen. So it was just sort of take it with a pinch of salt and move forward.
There wasn't a point where you were sitting on the ground there and hit the ground and went, for F's sake, Huey, what?
I've been through enough.
Travelling on this thing, I broke both my wrists. And now this. My left side's my good side.
Yeah, that's me good wrist.
Nah, not really, to be honest. Like I said, I was in too much pain to be worrying about what happened.
And he came and visited you as well. You mentioned that, which I don't actually think is common knowledge.
Yeah, he did. Well, when no one in racing is allowed to come see me when I was in the Westmead Hospital because, obviously for Corona safe and whatever else. But obviously when he's been suspended after that, he come and see me because he wasn't going to be at the races or anything like that. So, and that was good. It was good to see him, and you know, like I've said 3 times already, but there was no hard feelings, and it was just move forward sort of stuff.
And was it just like, I assumed it wouldn't have been spoken about. Did you just kind of want to be checking on you and?
Yeah, exactly right. He's come to check me out, and
that's good. I feel like more people should know that side of things as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And you know, every jockey wanted to come see me, and
I can imagine.
And everyone really, but they weren't able to because they're still riding. But you know, obviously now I'm out. I can obviously see people now, and I've had great support even since I've been out of hospital. Friends and family coming around and whatever else, and I think I've got a couple of boys coming up next week, so they're good to see them.
To rip in?
Well, mate, that's great having your mates up there. Did you just ask if he's going to rip in, Pat?
Yeah.
Are you?
Correct.
What's that club?
What's the water? No, there used to be a nightclub what was the nightclub that used to go underneath at Port? What was that called?
That was before my time. That was Down Under.
Down Under.
There's a cage in there.
Down Under.
I've been in that cage.
I haven't been in there. That was before my time, that one.
Imagine you as a young bloke. I'm 6'4" and about 127 kilos, and seeing a big bloke like myself just rolling around in a cage Down Under. You and your mates would peel straight back up the stairs.
Be taken straight off.
Yeah. Mate, well, look, and you're well known to punters for various reasons. Obviously, Group 1, Daisy Doom, $21. You know, you were, for a long time there, you were known as the quaddie killer as well because you booted home some outsiders, and for those of us that were on them, we loved them. But did anything come out of your, I suppose, international fame? I know the stories hit the papers in the UK and that, but actually, what we've actually heard is there's reports of a new show called A Jockey Wants a Wife. Is there? We've been told there's a few ladies sliding into the DMs.
Nah, we'll try and stay away from that, mate. That was Dave Stanley and Luke Marlowe, mate. We've got to stay away from them boys.
You've named our sources.
Don't give up the source.
They're trouble, mate. They're trouble.
Have you got a missus?
Nah, I don't. Nah.
You're a young bloke. You're everywhere. Good looking fella, happy boy. The boys were, well, Marlowe was first to throw that one our way.
Yeah, of course he would have been. He's only good for a stitch up, that bloke.
He is actually. We might actually get Miles on the show next week. Have you got anything he won't listen to this. He's too busy. We got anything to stitch Miles up next week?
Oh God, I've got heaps. Just don't know if anything's appropriate enough.
I was going to say, maybe tell us when
how
we're
right.
off air.
Well, I think that might be better.
Just one more serious question about the fall. The horse Hot N Hazy, what was your relationship with the owners or the trainer there with regards to, we read all the reports through the week, how they thought that it was going, the next sort of boom horse coming out of the country, and how did you get that ride initially?
Look, to be honest, I don't actually know. I've seen all like his trials and all that sort of stuff. I thought, geez, that's a promising horse. And my dad's actually my manager, so he was sort of straight on the phone. And I mean, I've rode for Denny since I've been in Sydney for a while. Every time he sort of brings one to town, I'm not sort of in the books to ride it, or second choice or whatever else. So I've ridden winners for him, and I've ridden for him a fair few times. So I don't know. I was just lucky to sort of get the ride. There was no real lead up to it.
Okay. When you sat on Dacey, you got that feel. When you sat on Hot N Hazy, did you get that feel that it sort of had something special there, or?
Yeah, he's obviously a nice horse. He was a nice horse. But look, he trialled really good. He had blinkers on. It was only over a short trip, but he obviously took the blinkers off to run over the 1200. He sort of landed in an okay spot just outside the leaders, but pace was probably still a little bit strong for him without the blinkers. It was probably getting a little bit lost, but he could have been a very nice horse for sure.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about it because a lot of times I get caught up in the hype. I love watching them win by spaces, even if it is in the trials and that. It's always, I love getting on a horse early and then watching it progress throughout its career to what it gets to. But obviously it wasn't meant to be with that horse, and we get up and move on, shake ourselves off.
Yeah, that's right. It's obviously very hard for the connections, but these things happen in racing, and there's not a lot you can do about it. So I guess you just got to put a tough skin and move forward. Yeah,
it's just out of control, like out of anyone's control. So it's it is funny though how there's no blame to apportion. All you guys in the jockeys room must look at each other and go, look, this shit's going to happen sometimes, and sometimes you're going to be on the wrong end of it, and sometimes you're going to be on the right end of it. When it came to you being on the wrong end of it this time, and Huey getting the 6-week suspension, how do you feel about that? Like, does the suspension sort of make you go, I'm glad he got that suspension because he'll learn from it, or it's a bit of a hollow sort of, like, we've made up. Why doesn't he?
Yeah, like, did you think it was over the top or something?
No, it just, like you said, it was just sort of one of them things that, I mean, it happens. You're always going to get suspended for it. Whether he got 6 months or he got 2 weeks, it's out of my control. So it doesn't really bother me at all. So
and he made it right with you as well. So you probably
that's it. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Like I said earlier, I'm just lucky I'm still breathing and I can walk again. So anything after that, I don't really care about, to be honest.
He's got a bloody good outlook, mate. Far out.
Well, it's a great attitude.
We're both 10 years older than you, or more than 10 years older than you, and we're
poor attitudes. Two poor attitudes here.
You couldn't meet two of the more negative, shittest blokes, and having you pop up on our screens like a little bright light, mate. Well done. That's such a good, mate. Can we move on to something a little bit more?
The bucket list.
Let's go to the bucket list.
Why don't we hit the bucket list? This is one of our favourite, mate. We don't want to spring this on you, but
we know you're not prepared.
You're obviously great at thinking on your feet. We're putting together a bucket list for the punters, live sports, racing events to go to around the world. We've got 3 questions to hit you with.
When we come out of Corona lockdown, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's all right, mate. You can just sneak out. It doesn't matter.
Don't say that either. We'll have people complaining about that.
Mate, what is the best sporting event you've ever been to, or the one you want to go to most anywhere in the world? Any sporting event out of any sport across the whole globe?
Look, to be honest, I haven't really been to many sporting events, really. I don't know if you call it sporting events, but went to sort of shows like Nitro Circus and all that sort of stuff. But that was cool. But I remember one year I was suspended and went to Doncaster as just a day out. That was pretty cool. It was fun. Enjoyed myself.
How
But
old were you?
like,
18, 19?
I think might have been 20 at the time. It was when Brutal won, the Doncaster. So I went and watched that and just sort of sat in the crowd and had a few drinks and all that sort of stuff. It was actually a really good day, and it was something you don't sort of experience as a jockey, because you're on the other side of the fence and it's all sort of things focused, but sort of let the hair down a little bit and look at it from the other side of the fence. It was pretty cool.
Did you head up to the stables at the end of the day?
Definitely didn't.
Didn't?
No, definitely didn't. Straight out of there.
So the Donny is the go-to sport. What about
any
AFL,
other sport,
NRL, soccer?
No, honestly, I don't mind watching NRL. I follow the Storm, so whenever they're playing, I always keep an eye on it. But it's actually only this year I sort of started to get back into the footy. But I don't know. I just don't really spend too much time at home, or when I am at home, I just go to bed. So
country apprenticeship, country apprentice of the year, provincial apprentice of the year, Sydney apprentice of the year. You probably had a lot on your mind and probably taken you up during the middle of footy season as well.
Well, the thing is, like when you're apprentice, like I only come out apprentice 2-3 years ago, but when you're apprentice, you're sort of starting super early and working in the afternoons and stuff. You're going to bed so early and stuff like. I was asleep before the footy would be on.
Yeah.
So I lost interest for a little while there. I was used to watch it as a young fella, but when I started apprenticeship, I sort of lost a bit of interest because I was never seeing it. But like I said, I've been starting watching it again, and I don't mind the footy. I like it.
Just living and breathing racing.
Well, pretty much. It sort of ends up like that, really, when it's sort of day in, day out sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, what about for our punters that are followers of the leg up, country cups, we just froth over them.
We love them. Me and Pat personally, we love them. What's a country
Grafton
cup?
Have you got one for us that we just...
You have to get to.
Grafton, definitely. Grafton.
Grafton.
It's tops. But I'd like to probably win the Port Cup, obviously being the hometown.
How good would that be?
Port Cup is fun.
Was that on the other week?
No, it's coming up October, so it's good fun.
Yeah.
It's another good country cup, but Grafton is definitely probably one of the probably always well known as well, and everyone sort of gets to it. But and obviously being 2 days, 2 days are really good racing as well. It's pretty good fun.
Yeah, Woodhead went to a Grafton Cup. I don't think he remembers a single thing.
I was escorted out of Grafton.
That happens.
I think he nearly dropped my son.
I did. I dropped as King Lear. I don't know if King Lear got up or didn't get up. I think I scared your son the first time, and then we got a photo on the finish line. I think I dropped him. So Grafton Cup can just get.
It can be dangerous.
It can get the better of the best people.
Grafton Cup.
I love that's the best. I reckon that's the best answer.
It was actually very funny this year because I went up there and it was obviously no crowds. It was just really weird being there and no one there. Like usually you're just laughing at people falling over or hanging over the fence, yelling stuff, whatever. But there was just no one there. It was quite strange.
Yeah.
Just a boring day of good racing.
It's weird to think about. It's weird to think about though, like the day we walked in there, it was chock-a-block. There's just, it looked like everyone walking to a festival.
Yeah, usually you can't move.
They hang off the rafters there.
We had a little private box.
Yeah, if you ever go to the Grafton Cup, listeners, there's a private box, Pat says, and anyone that's listening to this or not seeing the video, I'm doing inverted commas with my fingers, but it's like a cement slab up the back. You've got your own EBT, electric betting terminal. You've got a hole in the wall that can do your own drinks, and they bring out a platter of fried goodness. And I do remember this. I went in there and we had the girls, and I said, "Oh, blokes, I'm getting the girls some white wine. Should we just have a little wedge of white wine?" I said, "Oh, can we get 2 bottles of white wine?" She said, "Oh, no, we can't serve bottles." I said, "Okay, give me 12 glasses of white wine." She goes, "Okay, wait right here." Just starts handing out glasses of white wine. So, mate, it's a great spot. That's probably the best answer we've had.
Michael Beattie, thanks for that. Thanks for the leg up into the box there.
The best fun is probably on the walk out of there. It's watching everyone falling over and stuff.
Oh, I'm not going to mention anything of that. That was me.
That's probably you.
That was actually him falling onto people. It was.
I don't remember a thing, to be honest.
Mate, you go.
It's like it's easy to do there. That's for sure.
It was a slippery slope, mate. And do you know what? It's just when you're in the box, they just serve you anything. I think that's anywhere on the course. We were just trying to say we're important, but it was
the RSA course in Grafton is loose. Let's just say.
Whoa. We don't want them getting looked into.
Great people.
Bring your own esky.
Great people, good organisation. We'd love to be back. Last question on the bucket list. I'm just going to keep talking so I don't keep getting myself in strife. What about around the world? What is at the top of your list for international race meetings? Somewhere you'd either love to go or maybe a race you'd love to win? Or both?
I wouldn't mind going to the UK. Their racing is really cool, and I see J-Mac goes over there once a year, and he says it's really good, and I know a few of the boys over there and stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully, one year I get to sort of coast over that way, and maybe even do that one day. But that'll be exciting.
Where are we talking? Ascot?
Yeah, Ascot. For the carnival, that wouldn't be cool. That'd be really sick. Go to there. Yeah, maybe in a couple of years, might be able to sort of float over there. Hopefully,
let us know. We'll bring 1,000 of the best leg up followers.
We'd have to do that. You'd have to take a team for sure.
Mate,
we actually spoke about it to go next year. Originally, was it meant to be this year? I can't remember. Pat. Yeah. You had a baby. It was a real mess.
Yeah, I know. Everything.
I know. But yeah, I'm glad we didn't go this year. But yeah, Ascot to me, like, I don't know. It's such a social event. It'd be good. Imagine riding in one, Andy, and meeting the Queen. Do you meet the Queen?
You meet the Queen there and stuff. Yeah, I know James and stuff ridden for the Queen and met the Queen and all that sort of stuff. Like just so prestige over there.
Yeah,
it's just one of them. I mean, everyone sort of wants to go to Hong Kong and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'd just sort of like to do something like that. Go to UK and meet the Queen and.
Yeah, bloody
it's just really cool over there. And like I said, it's so prestige. It'd be good to obviously ride there, and even better to ride winners there. It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
it's a good word for it. It is.
The old man went over when Steve Arnold, my old man and my brother went over when Steve Arnold rode Scenic Blast there. Well, I can't remember what was the big race he won. But
oh God, I got no idea.
Me neither, mate.
But yeah, it was that's the trip I want to get on the back of when it happens. But you said about Hong Kong. You've been to you rode in Macau for one time. Did you get a chance to just head over to Hong Kong for a day, or?
I did. Tommy Berry and Sam Clipperton were still there at the time, and stopped in their place on the way home. I was only there for I think I flew in one night, rode in Macau the next day, and then I was sort of straight out of there the day after that.
Strong fifth in Macau.
Yeah, that was about as good as it got. I stopped into Hong Kong on the way back to see, went to where Tommy was living and caught up Sam and Tommy and stuff like that. But didn't really get to sort of have a look around in Hong Kong. But I wouldn't mind going over there and even one of them flying sort of meetings and over there carnivals and stuff. It wouldn't be too bad.
Well, yeah, you're so young, you could have probably ended up riding over there in one of those carnivals down the track.
But you never know, and if doors open up, I won't be saying no. That's for sure.
They'd be keen as to have you, mate.
Yeah.
Not at the moment, though. We're putting a big cross for Corona around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that what's next for you? Obviously, you're working towards Christmas. Is there something that's kind of in the pipeline that's getting you through these kind of tougher days with your rehab and your quiet nights, I suppose?
Not really. I mean, I'm a pretty positive sort of person, but I've just sort of been catching up with friends most days, and mum and dad are at home all the time, so I've just been chilling with them. But obviously, like I said, try and get back for Christmas time, and I mean, it's probably a bit of a lull for the bigger boys, and hopefully I can sort of get a kick along straight away. And I mean, I've got good connections in Sydney and stuff like that, and I'm pretty positive I'd get the support again as soon as I go back. So, all fingers crossed, things go sort of back to normal, hopefully as soon as possible. But, I'm aware I've got to probably have to work for it again and try and find my spot back again. But that's what happens when you have injuries.
I think we're all rooting for you too. We really want to see you.
Yeah, you'll definitely pick up where you left off. And just the way everyone's gotten behind you, it's it's unbelievable, mate. Even, and like I said, even people not involved in racing that have asked how you are and how you've gone and how it's all going it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty crazy to think that there's a lot of people out there that care that aren't even involved in racing. So,
Well, that's right, and like exactly what you said. Like even people from the golf course play golf and stuff, and see people from the golf course and stuff messaging me and stuff like that. It's just people always find out and people see it, and it was obviously broadcasted a lot, and all social medias and stuff like that. So yeah, it's incredible the people out there that give the support out there, especially when you need it. In sort of shit times.
Do you have a mate back in Port Mac? Because this is probably the first time that you've had, well, not the first time, but the first couple of times that you've had extended period off work. Is there a mate back home in Port Mac, a best mate that's your sidekick that you're spending a lot of time with now? Or
yeah, I do. I grew up with Matt McCudden. He's actually a trainer here. He's only sort of just started training the last couple of years, but I spent a lot of time with him, and we grew up together. He lives on the other side of the race course. I live on this side, so we used to meet up in the middle, play footy, and
I was going to say
on the race course, and
meet you in the middle.
it was exactly, and it was either one weekend we're at my house or at their house, and obviously him being a trainer, he doesn't have a whole lot of time, but period in the day in between morning and afternoon shift, I sort of catch up with him a lot, and I was lucky enough they had his parents had our grandma gopher. So they shafted that my way, and so I ride that over to the stable.
Like a little scooter.
Oh God, I wish you were sitting in it right now.
I assumed you were. You were just going to take us on a cruise around your parents' house.
No, so I take that over to the stables each day, and we'll just go straight through the race course and across over there, and just chill over there and watch them work. And
who's that on the back straight?
Yeah.
You mentioned the golf club before. Do you play golf, or did you play golf?
Love golf. Yeah.
You love your golf.
Yeah, I love my golf.
Yeah, we're talking.
It's not very good. Maybe about 20, 22 or something like that.
Oh, you poor thing.
That's good golf. That's bogey golf.
It's good golf.
Yeah, it's getting better. I'm actually, since Marlowe's come back from Singapore, we started playing and got really, when the racing was only 2 days a week, we were sort of going, 4 or 5 times a week playing golf and stuff like that. So it was, it was the only sort of real sport you could get out and do and stuff like that. So yeah, I just got right into the golf, got a new set of golf clubs, and was back right into it. But it's obviously on delay now for a little bit.
Do you need to give any golf brand a shout out or anything like that, or do you have to sponsor your own?
Set.
Surely.
Mate, I wish. A bit tailor-made wouldn't have hurt.
Oh, is that what you're rocking? Oh. Tailor-made. If anyone's listening, please.
Someone give us a sponsor.
He'd be sitting there in a tailor-made ad and the M12, whatever the new driver they got out now, or the M4 or whatever it is. But
have Columbia Pictures been sending you DVDs? Is that
what's going on? Just because ripping into Netflix.
Netflix is getting the hammer, mate. Shifted me out.
And he wanted to send you a hoodie for how many hours you've spent on Netflix for the last 3 weeks.
Too funny.
That's bloody great, mate. Well, look, now we ask everyone that comes on if they have something for the leg up battlers, and there's a little bit of pressure on you. Tommy Berry, Billy Egan both spoke about horses that went on to win that very next weekend. But is there a horse for us to follow? Maybe a ride you had coming up that we should be keeping our eye on?
Oh, to be honest, it's been sort of nearly it's going on a month now since I've been at work, so I've sort of lost. The sort of horses I was riding going forward have now probably gone on a race and stuff, but I reckon I can top theirs, and I reckon I'll put in Nature Strip, mate. It won't get beat anywhere it goes in Sydney.
There we go.
Definitely not.
Nature Strip, Melbourne Storm supporter. He's obviously only supporting winners.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Correct.
Nature Strip.
Well, there's a
Nature
bit of money
Strip
around now.
It won't get beat anywhere in Sydney, surely.
Okay.
Surely.
What about
beat it?
This is like coming in off the back of like a WWE entrance music. It's just
He's trying to RKO them.
The confidence here is unbelievable.
Well, if they're not bringing any horses in from other states, what horse is going to beat him the way he's been trialling?
Yeah, that trial was phenomenal on Monday or whatever it was.
Unbelievable.
Wouldn't it be good if there was a nice 900-metre race around that they could just throw it into and win by panels?
They'd just keep on winning and winning.
Actually, what's the Moonee Valley 900-metre to win the car?
I don't know.
They probably don't
I
need a
can't
car
remember.
because they have
So,
nature
yeah, no.
strip. But geez, that'd be a mate. It's just low level flying. That was he didn't move on it at one bite.
Both trials, and he's just improving. And obviously hearing J-Mac's interviews and stuff after it, he seems to think it's improved again and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of a horse that'll beat it, and I can't think of one. I don't know if you can.
I don't know if J-Mac was actually riding it. They could have put a mannequin on him in
Correct.
that last trial who just was a statue, didn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that. But you'd ridden. Oh no, it mightn't have been that one. Classic. What's it called? That's got a spot in there.
Classic Legend.
Yeah, had you ridden it before?
Nah, I haven't ridden him, nah.
It was Classic Unicorn, maybe.
Classic Uniform. Yeah, I won
Uniform.
Unicorn.
Unicorn.
Ridden a few
great
unicorns.
horse.
Don't worry.
horse.
Right, ridden a few classic unicorns every time, don't you?
Is that Buddy Home ice cream out the front?
Yeah, is that the ice
Yeah.
cream man?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, go out and get the knockoff cornettos. You've got to go get him now.
Is he in your driveway?
I think he's not far away.
He knows he's got to wait
Yeah.
for Andy because he's got his leg. He's sitting there just ringing. No, wait a bit.
Wait a
This
minute.
kid takes a bit. This kid takes
Wait
a
a minute,
while.
wobble out. Take
Out
the
your little
gopher out the front.
gopher.
He's got a red gopher. You'll see him. You'll see him.
Oh, mate. Well, look, Eddie, on behalf of the Leg Up team and all our followers, we truly wish you all the best. You got a ton of ability. We can't see you. We can't wait to see you back out there and riding winners. And I hope a heap of people see this, because I want you to be known for the attitude you've got as well after this incident. You know, I don't want you to be known for that incident, you know, for people outside of the industry, but just the attitude and the outlook you've got towards it, mate, is unbelievable. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Nah, thanks, boys. And yeah, like I said, I've always got to keep staying positive. It's the only way to get over any injury or anything that happens in life, I guess. You just stay positive, it always sort of turns around. But nah, it's a pleasure to be able to come on here, and thanks for having me on, boys.